How's it going, everybody? Doing a drink review and NFL gum chewing recap of week 12 in the NFL. Get to those scores. I've got another C4 energy drink here today. This is Ruthless Raspberry. This has WWE stuff. I don't know if this is in. Yeah, I guess it's like a thing they've done together. I don't know. WWE, then now forever together. I know I've heard Vince McMahon say that. Supercharged energy. Speaking of WWE, what's his name popped up again at Survivor Series, CM Punk. There were rumors that he was going to, and he did after he hasn't been there for a while, right? It was like, I don't know when he left there, like 2013 or 14, I don't know. So people are excited about that. Excuse me. But anyway, let me get to this drink review first, and then I'll get to the games. I am still having trouble with this because it's mirrored or whatever. This on the laptop, it was just how I held it. Now it's like the opposite. So let's see how this is. I like raspberry flavored stuff, so. Nice smell. Not very ruthless. Honestly, that is not a strong raspberry taste. It's kind of dull. Actually, I don't like that. I like my raspberry taste to be strong. This does have, I think this is the highest of the energy drinks that I get with 300 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know about that one. It doesn't taste bad, but it's just very dull. I don't like if I have, like I said, if I have a raspberry tasting drink, I want it to kind of be strong because I like that flavor. Yeah, I don't know. That's a dull taste. I'll continue to drink that. I'll give it a score in a minute or two. Let's get into these games. Obviously, you had the Thursday games from Thanksgiving. I'm grabbing the mouse. I have my laptop here again. Packers beat the Lions. That's an upset, 29-22 in Detroit. They were up big on them too. And then the Lions kind of came back a little. Goff had a nice game. Although maybe he didn't. He got 332 yards, 2 TDs. He fumbled a bunch, I think. That's why his QBR is so low. And he lost three fumbles. Montgomery, 71 yards, rushing a TD. Gibbs, 54 yards rushing. So they ran the ball. Once again, they have over 400 yards offense. St. Brown, 95 yards receiving for Detroit. The touchdowns are by Laporta and Reynolds receiving. Montgomery had a rushing touchdown. Dillon has 43 yards for the Packers rushing. Jordan Love runs for 39 yards. He has a nice game, 268 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. No picks for Goff either. No fumbles as well. Watson has 94 yards receiving and a TD. Reed and Kraft both have receiving TDs. For the Packers. Packers are 5-6 now. Lions are 8-3, but they're still in great shape because now the Vikings are losing. I'm disappointed in this. I was hoping for a strong taste out of this. Because usually the energy drinks are strong tasting, even C4, no matter the brand. Typically they are. And this one's just like a dull raspberry. I like, I'm going to go a 5 on this one. Honestly, Especially with the ruthless raspberry. I'm thinking that's going to be in my face, and it's not. It's mediocre, not that it's bad, but I just want more. Okay, I'm doing it again with the mouse. I'm like trying to control the laptop with the mouse for the PC. Cowboys destroy Washington. 45-10. Commanders dropped to 4-8. Cowboys are 8-3 now. See, once again, the Cowboys are doing what they're supposed to do. They're beating up on the crap. And you know what? I think they've beaten a good team or two, but if you beat up on the crap all year, most likely you're going to make the playoffs, and then, anything can happen. So, Prescott again. He's been out of his mind lately. 4 TDs, 331 yards, no picks. Pollard has 79 yards rushing and a touchdown. I want to see Dak Prescott's stats for the year. 23 TDs and 6 picks. 2,935 yards. How many rushing TDs does he have? I hate when it doesn't show the full stats. I gotta go to it. Oh, whatever. He's having a nice year. Although I would have thought he would have been more touchdowns than that, just because I feel like didn't he have 4 touchdowns against the Giants as well? They're 5-0 at home too. That's the thing. They're playing great at home. The scary thing is, if they're still 2 games back in their division, so no, would they have to go on the road? 7 teams make the playoffs now, right? Because only 1 team gets the bye. So I would think the best wild card team would, I don't know. 4 TDs. Let's see who had the TDs. Cooks has a TD. He's actually playing a lot better lately. Lamb has another TD. He's having a nice year. Turpin has a TD. And Dowdle. Brian Robinson Jr. has 53 yards rushing for the Commanders. Sam Howell has a rushing TD. He throws a pick for 300 yards. He's sacked 4 times. That guy's been sacked like 60 times almost this year. That's nuts. Curtis Samuel had 100 yards receiving for Washington. Let's see who had those sacks. 1.5 sacks for Micah Parsons, 2 for Hankins. And there was a night game, right? Yeah. 49ers beat up on the Seahawks. So like I said, the 49ers now, they were 5-0, then they dropped, I think, 3 in a row. Now they're bouncing back. And they went on the road, too. Right, that was a road game. Seahawks 6-5, 49ers 8-3. They sacked Geno Smith 6 times. Sorry, not 8. He has a pick and 180 yards. He doesn't do much. Purdy has 209 yards, a pick and a TD. Excuse me, he didn't do incredible. McCaffrey 114 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Deebo Samuel adds a rushing TD as well. Charbonnet has 47 yards rushing for the Seattle. Nobody does anything receiving. Metcalf at 32 yards. Locke at 30. Deebo Samuel has 79 yards receiving. Brandon Ayuk has the receiving TD. Let's see who had these sacks for the Niners. How many fumbles? DJ Dallas had a fumble. That's a good name for Seattle. 2 sacks for Nick Bosa. So they're taking command of that division again now after stumbling a little bit. Jets get blown out by Miami. Miami's 8-3. Jets are 4-7. I'm gonna get to Denver in a little bit, but Tim Boyle plays quarterback for the Jets, and he has a pick. A touchdown, 2 picks, gets sacked 7 times, 179 yards. They rushed the ball 10 times for 29 yards. Tua has 2 picks, so the Jets D is still managing to get some turnovers, even though they're probably on the field for 900 hours. He has a TD. Mustard has 94 yards rushing with 2 TDs. Wilson Jr. adds 56 yards, so they ran the ball like crazy. Waddle, 114 yards receiving. Another 102 for Tyreek Hill and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson has a receiving touchdown for the Jets. Boyle fumbled twice but didn't lose him. Tua fumbled as well. Wow. So the Jets D was doing their best, but 2 sacks for Wilkins on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are just too good, though. Yeah, because his QBR, Tua's was 34. Tim Boyle's was 4.6. I mean, the Dolphins gave up not even 100, well, counting the sacks, just over 150 yards. So, there it looks like they might take that division now. The Buffalo's 6-6. I'd say that's the Dolphins division. Now to lose in reality. That was a Friday game as well. Let's move to Sunday now. The Falcons, the first place Falcons, after beating the Saints. Both teams are 5-6. So now the AFC, what is that? The NFC South, sorry. That's the weak division now. There's always a terrible division where the division winners either like, well, back in the day they'd be like 7-9 to 9-7. I know Denver was in the AFC West, was that division for a couple of years. Both 5-6. Derek Carr pick 304 yards. Ritter has a pick and a touchdown, 2 picks, 168 yards. So nobody does anything there. 91 yards rushing for Robinson on the Falcons and a TD. Algier has another 64 yards rushing. Cordell Patterson throws in 43 yards rushing. Ritter has 30 yards rushing. They rush for 228 yards. New Orleans ran for 148 with Kamara with 69. Drake London, 91 yards rushing, receiving for Atlanta. And a touchdown for Robinson on Atlanta. Olave, 114 yards receiving for the Saints. Taysom Hill loses a fumble. Was it a good day for the kickers? Oh, wow. Jesse Bates III had a touchdown, a 92-yard interception return for the Falcons for a TD. Wow, the guy, I don't know how to say his last name. Group was 5 of 6 on field goals for the Saints, so he was their total offense. So the Falcons are, that division literally can go to anybody. Like I said, the AFC West, this was back in when they won it with Tebow, Denver, the division before Peyton came. They were 8-8. I want to say the Chargers won that division 8-8 one year too. I forget what division it was. It might have been Seahawks. Maybe somebody was like 7-9 and they hosted a freaking playoff game because they won a division at 7-9. Steelers beat the Bengals 16-10. Steelers 7-4. Bengals are going to be in trouble now. They're 5-6 now. Burrow's gone. Browning does okay, I guess. Touchdown at Pick, 227 yards. Pickett has 278 yards. No picks or touchdowns. Harris, 99 yards rushing for the Steelers and a touchdown. 25 yards rushing on 11 carries for the Bengals. 81 yards receiving for Chase. Drew Sample has a touchdown receiving for the Bengals. I can't say this guy's name on the Steelers. Pat Freiermuth, 120 yards receiving. Jalen Warren loses a fumble. 2 sacks for TJ Watt. It's 5-6. Steelers are there. 7-4. There's a logjam of teams in AFC. We're gonna fight it probably be fighting for 2 playoff spots. Titans beat the Panthers 17-10. Panthers 1-10. Titans 4-7. Not much happening here. Levis, this guy, every time I look at this guy's stats on Tennessee, he does not do much. 185 yards, no TDs, no picks. Bryce Young, 194 yards, sacked 4 times. No TDs, no picks. Hubbard has a rushing touchdown. The Panthers, Derrick Henry has 76 yards and 2 rushing TDs. For the Titans, Hopkins, 49 yards receiving. Mingo, 60 yards receiving for the Panthers. Bryce Young loses a fumble. Just a game. Panthers, and Panthers don't have that pick, right? It's the Bears that have that pick, so that's a problem for that team now. I know, because Denver had to give their 5th overall pick last year in the Wilson trade to the Seahawks. Colts beat the Bucks 27-20. The Colts are now 6-5. Bucks are 4-7, but still only a game out in the division. Baker Mayfield, 199 yards, 2 TDs and a pick, sacked 6 times. So Skip Bayless should be overall happy. He loves Baker Mayfield and his 11-game stretch that he had, that he always talked about. I do think Baker Mayfield's a solid enough quarterback, but Skip Bayless has a serious boner for him. Gardner Minshew, 256 yards and 251 yards and a pick. Jonathan Taylor, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, 91 yards rushing. Zach Moss, 55 yards rushing. For the Colts, Rashad White, 100 yards rushing for the Bucks. Mike Evans having a great year, 70 yards, receiving 2 TDs. Pittman Jr. for the Colts, 107 yards and 10 catches. So he had a nice game. Baker Mayfield loses a fumble as well. 2 sacks for Abukum. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. But now the Colts are doing well. 6-5. And the Bucks are still in the race for their division. The Giants and Patriots battle. 10-7 Giants win. 4-8 Pats, 2-9. I think it was the first time ever that a team, the Patriots the last 2 weeks, gave up 10 points each game and lost both games. That's pathetic. You know what, they'll keep losing if you're the Patriots. Because the Patriots need to actually rebuild. If you're going to suck, just suck. DeVito has a touchdown, 191 yards, sacked 6 times for the Giants, so the Giants continue their bad line. DeVito looks okay, though. 46 yards rushing for Barkley. Mac Jones, 89 yards and 2 picks. He gets benched again, I assume, and the other guy, the backup, has a pick. Mac Jones is not the answer. Stevenson has 98 yards rushing and a touchdown for the New England. Douglas, 49 yards receiving for New England. Hyatt has 109 yards receiving for the Giants. Hodgins has the touchdown receiving. DeVito lost the fumble. Jennings, 1.5 sacks for the Pats. 1.5 sacks for Ward for the Giants. Defensive struggle. There were some bad games this week. There were some defensive struggles this week. It's a bad offensive games. Jags beat the Texans 24-21. 8-3 Jags. The Jags are 5-0 on the road. That means they're not as good at home. 3-3. Texans dropped to 6-5. Trevor Lawrence, touchdown to pick, 364 yards. CJ Stroud again, 304 yards. He's sacked 4 times, but he has 2 touchdowns, no picks. He rushes for 47 yards and a TD as well. He's their leading rusher. Etienne Jr., 56 yards rushing. For the Jags, Lawrence has a rushing touchdown also. Ridley, 89 yards receiving and a TD. the Jags. Kirk, 89 yards receiving. Nico Collins, 104 yards receiving, and a TD for the Texans. Tank Dell with another TD receiving as well. 2.5 sacks for Josh Allen for the Jaguars. No fumbles for either team either. Jags a quiet 8-3. Here we go. Broncos win their 5th in a row, and now they're 6-5. They beat the Browns 29-12. Obviously, the Broncos did not have. The Browns did not have Watson. He's gone. This guy Thompson Robinson has 134 yards and a TD, and then PJ Walker also plays, has 56 yards. Russell Wilson only has 131 yards. He does have a TD passing, and I know he rushed for a TD as well. Quietly having a nice little year. Javonte Williams has 65 yards rushing for Denver. Perrine has 55 yards rushing, a TD. They ran the ball for 169 yards. Ford has 65 yards rushing for the Browns. 59 yards receiving for, I don't know how to say his last name, for the Browns. Maury Cooper didn't do much, but I think he got hurt. Right here is ribs. Cortland Sutton, 61 yards receiving. Denver didn't do much either. Troutman had the receiving touchdown for Denver. Wilson did lose a fumble. Denver forced 3 fumbles. Denver's D looked good. Benito had a sack and a half. It's funny how Denver's D all of a sudden is good again after giving up 1,000 points to the Dolphins. Denver's playing better. They're not playing necessarily great. They've won some very close games. But, you don't know. They got 6 games left. I would like to personally see them go at least 9-8, even if they miss the playoffs. They've already surpassed their win total for last year. Can you imagine if Denver squeezes into the playoffs after giving up 70 fucking points in a game and get beat by 50 in that game? Like, what? That'd be funny if they played the Dolphins again. Still don't know if Denver's actually making the playoffs, let's be honest, but if they actually played the Dolphins again, they're not going to give up 70, I would think. And I forgot that Simmons didn't play in that game, so just based on him playing, they wouldn't give up 70, maybe 50, but not 70. Can you imagine if they played them again and actually won? I don't think that would happen, but that'd be funny. It's football, you never know. If Denver just makes the playoffs, that'd be fantastic for the franchise, even because they've done shit for so long. It's funny how Denver's a team with... Browns are 7-4 now, by the way. Denver's team has 3 Super Bowls. It's been to 8. And it's on a fucking 8. But it's like 8 years in a row without the playoffs. I mean, it's weird. Excuse me. Rams destroy the Cardinals. Cardinals are terrible. Get that pick, right? 37-14. Rams 5-6. Cardinals 2-10. Stafford 4 touchdowns and a pick. Nice game for him. Kyler Murray has a touchdown. Connor has 27 yards rushing. That's the leading rusher for the Cardinals. Williams has 143 yards rushing for the Rams. Royce Freeman has 77 yards rushing as well and a touchdown. Big rushing day for them. 2 receiving TDs for Williams on the Rams. Dortch has a receiving touchdown for the Cardinals. 2 sacks for Turner on the Rams. Kobe Turner. I keep forgetting Matt Prater's on the Cardinals. He did miss a field goal. That guy Lutz, the Denver kicker's been playing a lot better. That's what I wanted to talk about with Denver. I mean, Denver got that win against the Bills. They were controlling most of that game, but then they needed a penalty to get a second chance at field goal, whatever. Technically, they're probably exactly where they should be at 6-5, but they lost 3 home games to the Raiders, the Commanders, and the Jets. You have to win one of those games because they would be 7-4 right now. It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs, but it's nice to actually see them winning. At the end of the day, I'm not going to lose my cool either way, but I would personally like to see them at least finish over 500. Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-17. Chiefs are 8-3, right? Raiders are 5-7. O'Connell a touchdown, no picks, 248 yards for the Raiders. Mahomes, nice little game, 298, and 2 TDs, no picks. Pacheco, I don't know how to say his name. He has 2 rushing touchdowns, 55 yards. For KC, Jacobs has 110 yards and a TD. For the Raiders, 69 yards for Jacoby Myers and a touchdown receiving. I meant for the Raiders. Rice has a touchdown and 170 yards. 107 yards for the Chiefs. Kelsey had 91 yards. They really don't have much options receiving. But Mahomes is the kind of guy that can make mediocre to bad receivers good. Not only a sack apiece for each team, so. No fumbles for either team. So this Chiefs 8-3, like I said. Somehow Denver's 2 games back. That's still not a problem for the Chiefs. Unless Denver rolled the rest of the year, which they're not going to do. It's not. At least someone's other than the Chiefs, so 500. Although I think last year the Chargers made the playoffs, so it was another decent team. The Bills and the Eagles in the game of the week. Eagles win 37-34 in overtime. I'm pretty sure the Eagles came back in this game. Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 339 yards. Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdowns and a pick, 200 yards for the Eagles. Josh Allen runs for 81 yards and 2 TDs. Nice game for him. I know Hurts also ran for 2 TDs and 65 yards. Swift had 80 yards rushing for the Eagles. 106 yards receiving for Devonta Smith. He has a TD. A.J. Brown has a TD, and Zach Hoosh, I don't know how to say that guy's name, he has a TD as well. Davis and Diggs have the TD, receiving TDs for the Bills. 105 yards receiving for Gabe Davis, 74 for Diggs. Hurts loses a fumble. I want to see, I know the guy kicked a pretty crazy field goal, right? It says miraculous field goal. I'm going to assume it was a long one. Eagles are 10-1. Bills are 6-6. I want to see the game cast real quick and see how big a lead they blew. They were up 24-14 going into the 4th, the Bills, so they keep doing this, the Eagles. They keep coming back. Now, that might eventually end, but you know what? They're 10-1. It doesn't matter. They're winning. They're clutch. They're playing clutch football. So, you know, there's no clear-cut best team, though, in my opinion. The Eagles have the best record, but the Eagles could be beat probably in the playoffs, right? Anybody in the AFC could beat each other, too, at this point. Which is good for the league, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Eagles and Chiefs again. All right. Let me finish this off here. Ravens beat the Chargers 20-10. Chargers 4-7, Ravens 9-3. Ravens quietly too, just 9-3. There's a couple of teams in the AFC that are quietly doing very well. Herbert a touchdown, a pick, sacked 3 times, 217 yards. Lamar Jackson 177 yards and a touchdown. Mitchell 64 yards of rushing and no TDs for the Ravens. Zay Flowers has the rushing TD on his 1 carry. Herbert leads the run. A lot of quarterbacks leading their teams in rushing this week, 47 yards. Likely, is that how you say that guy's last name in Baltimore? Likely, 40 yards receiving. Beckham Jr., 34 yards receiving. Zay Flowers has the receiving TD as well. Gerald Everett had the receiving touchdown for the Chargers. And Keenan Allen, another great game, 14 catches, 160 yards receiving. He fumbles, though. Eckler fumbles. Herbert fumbles. That probably cost him the game then, those 3 fumbles. A lot of fumbles this week. And Monday night, another defensive struggle. The Bears beat the Vikings, so the Vikings now are kind of falling apart. It looked good for a little bit with Dobbs. Yeah, Dobbs, I think, came back down to earth. Fields has no TDs, no picks. He has 217 yards passing. He once again leads the team, 59 yards rushing. Dobbs has a touchdown and 4 picks, 185 yards. Matheson has 52 yards rushing for the Vikings. Hawkinson has the receiving TD for the Vikings. Fields loses 2 fumbles. Oh, they had the 4 field goals, so this was just a game. Hell of a Monday night game. Santos 4 or 5 field goals for the Bears. So the Vikings look decent now. They're kind of. I think the injuries are getting them too much. And here's another thing: Dobbs is doing well, throws whatever. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, and I know Viking fans definitely saw it, but that guy's gotten a lot of shit in his career. It's like they act like he sucks. It's weird, like analysts and shit. Like he's always been a good QB. I don't understand that hate for him. I wanted Denver to get him. When last year, I think he was. When they were thinking about getting Rodgers, they eventually went with Wilson. I'm like, I don't have a problem if they have Cousins because he's a solid QB. But anyway, Bears are 4-8. Vikings are 6-6. So even with the Lions' loss, they're still comfortably in that division lead. Denver has to play them as well. But yeah, that's just another a drink review here. 5 out of 10 on this C4 Ruthless Raspberry. Too dull of a taste on the raspberry front. And Week 12 NFL recap. But thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.